I have a tie for 10th place between Chicago and Boston. I just think they're playing a little better over the last week. I think Chicago, just by the fact, I think it's 12-9 their record right now. We don't know how long Derrick Rose is going to be out, but I think right now they're playing very well without him.
They actually are playing decent basketball. 12-9, 7-3 over the last 10.
Top in the division, so I think you got to give them credit for that. And Boston had the big win against Dallas last night. I just think Boston's got a lot more to go this season than what they've done so far. So that's number 10. Number 9, I'm going to go with Atlanta. They're still playing pretty well. Second in division, I believe 13-6 is their record right now. Listen, a lot to like with them. Josh Smith, Al Horford, all-star candidates every year in my eyes. And the rest of the team is playing very well around them. Number 8, I'm putting the Golden State Warriors back on the list this week. 5-game winning streak, I believe it's on right now. Klay Thompson had 27 points, 7 boards, 5 3-pointers made last night. And I say it like that, I'm not going to lie, I forgot to check my fantasy lineup last night, and I left his ass on the bench. Freaking terrible. Terrible! But anyway.
Breathe.
David Lee, I think he deserves an all-star selection this year, and you got to wonder what this team's going to look like if Bogut can get healthy for any length of time this year. So number 7, I'm keeping Brooklyn at number 7 this week. Obviously, they had the 5-game losing streak, but I feel like just like when they blew that game to Minnesota earlier in the season, this is still a good team, and I think it's better that they get something like this out of their system now so they can rebound, recover from it, and I think they'll be better off for it come March and April. So I'm still putting them 7. Number 6, I'm going to go with the Clippers. They're riding high in the Western Conference right now, and obviously Chris Paul and Blake Griffin are playing very well. I think they got a lot more to go, but I think right now you got to give them 6. I will put the Knicks number 5. You got to put them 5. The way they handled Miami, the way they beat Brooklyn, they're rolling right now, but I do think this game against the Lakers tonight is a big test for them. So they're 5. Memphis is 4. I still think Memphis is playing very well right now. Huge Marc Gasol fan. I like Rudy Gay. Zach Randolph is doing his thing. Memphis is 4. Miami is 3. Obviously, listen, they're losing some games. They lost to the Knicks twice already this season. I still think they'll beat the Knicks when all's said and done, but just right now, they look like they're coasting a little bit. So they're 3. Oklahoma is number 2. They beat the Hornets last night. And listen, anytime you have Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and they're playing at the level they're playing at, Ibaka is playing really well. Kevin Martin's been a nice complimentary player for them. They're going to be competing for the Western Conference Finals this year, no question. And San Antonio, number 1, 18-4, best record in the league, best record against the Western Conference. Nothing not to like about them. You know, the way they're playing, San Antonio gets the top spot. That is my top 10, folks.
Give me 7 and 8 again. I'm sorry.
7 was the Nets, 8 was the Warriors.
Okay. Erich?
1 second. I have at 10. Little tie. I mean, I had them there last week, which is why I can't really bump them, but I really feel like they need to share the spot this week with the Celtics, and that's the Warriors.
At 10?
Warriors, Celtics / at 10.
Okay.
At 9, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm slightly unprepared because I was in the middle of typing something.
It's all good, Mr. Social. I'm just kidding. As long as you're communicating with SportsZonians, I'm okay.
I was trying to, because what happens is if I leave this page, then everything gets screwed up. So let me just finish this real quick, and I'll give you.
All right, you want me to go?
Yeah, you go.
All right.
Well, actually, no. Now I'm ready. So now you're back on the bench. All right, yeah, I had the Celtics and Warriors 10. I have the Nets at 9, all the way down to 9. Been struggling recently. I haven't really seen a need to put them higher. I have the Bulls at 8, leading their division right now. Not necessarily the team everybody expects to see when Derrick Rose on the floor, but they are putting together an okay year so far, and they are, like I said, leading that division. Number 7, I have the Hawks, 13-6, playing great ball. I'm sorry, that was number 7. Number 6, I have the Clippers, who again are leading their conference out west, and playing, or not their conference or division, but playing good basketball as well. I mean, Lob City alone, I mean, nobody's had more lob passes and more dunks than the Clippers, but it seems to be working for them.
They really are.
Yeah. So, number 5, I have the Grizzlies. Tough team, Memphis. I think they're going to be there all year long. They're going to give teams fits. 4, I have the Heat. They got to be behind my New York Knickerbockers. Just had to be. Number 3, I actually have the Spurs. Aging, but Popovich knows how to coach. I mean, he's got to be one of the best coaches in the game, if not the best coach.
Like
for what he does,
now.
I would say
he has
probably
been,
last 20 years.
He is just phenomenal with what he's done with not even like a big city. I mean, San Antonio's not that big. They're not a major market, but what he's been able to do there over the course of when he's been there has been unbelievable. Number 2 is where I have my New York Knickerbockers, 16-5, leading the Eastern Conference. That's big time. I'm sorry. They're shooting the ball like none other right now. Melo's playing great. But number 1, I still don't think they're better than OKC, though. I mean, I really like OKC, and I got OKC at 1.
Interesting. Okay. And now for me, go through this real quick. I actually snuck Chicago in. I put them in at 10. This is the first week for all of us that we actually have Chicago in. 12-9 now, 7-3 in their last 10. And, I mean, as long as they can keep themselves a couple games above 500 until Rose gets back, I think this team has a really good chance to at least get one round of home court in the playoffs. I put Boston in at number 9, 6-4 in their last 10, 12-9 overall. Now, I actually have Golden State higher than both of you guys. I have Golden State up at 8. Oh, I'm with you, Mike. Golden State at 8.
Yep.
The reason I put them there, I actually learned this stat this morning. They have the best record in the NBA right now by 2 games against teams above 500. They're playing the best basketball against teams with 500 or better records than anybody else.
So it seems they're playing to their competition.
They're playing, pretty much. I mean, they're 15-7, 8-2 over their last 10 games. So, I mean, it's not like they have, I mean, the Clippers are 16-6. They only trail the Clippers by 1 game. You know what I mean? It's not like their record is that bad. They're right there in the West right now, and I think that, I really think this Golden State team looks like the 8th best team in the NBA right now. I have Atlanta all the way up at 7. 13-6, 8-2 in their last 10 games as well. So I put them up at 7. Clippers I have at 6, which both of you guys did as well. I dropped Miami all the way back to number 5. I think the way they've played lately, they're 7-3 in their last 10, but you can see almost like a sense of complacency right now. Like they're not too stressed about, making a push to get on a winning streak or anything like that. So not a fan of that. I got Memphis back at 4. Mainly for the fact that they're pretty much a 500 team right now over their last 10 games. They're 14-5 on the year. 4 of those losses have came in their last 10 games. So, in my opinion, they're not playing as good as they were in the get-go. I jumped the Knicks up to number 3. I got them, 16-5, 8-2 in their last 10 games. I just couldn't put them above San Antonio, who I have at 2, and OKC, who I have at 1. Each one of them are 18-4 and 9-1 in their last 10. So they've played more games than the Knicks, and they have a better record than the Knicks. And I think they play in a harder conference than the Knicks.